everyone. This is Venus Brown. I'm going to be doing a reaction for season 3, episode 2 of Derry Girls.
If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want more content, click subscribe. If you click that little bell and click all, then you'll get more content notifications.
Alright, I apologize if the sound is off. I'm having a really hard time aligning the tracks, so there may be a bit of a echo or something like that.
Shauna Sharkey's niece works for the company, you see. Entitles you to a free item of makeup, a lip liner, a mascara. This is all I need, Jerry. But there's a catch. What there might be. The retailer will accept one voucher per customer only. Now, what that means, Mary...
What it means, Sarah, Jerry?
Bag of disguises. A couple of quick changes in the Richmond Centre toilet.
No chance, Jerry!
Jerry! You're talking about free makeup here, Mary.
Homer, the numbers in my wee address book.
Six say we need a new boiler.
Mommy, I found a pen.
Can't afford a new boiler.
Right, here you go. Here's a pen. That's a pyro.
I mean, I've seen corpses that are a better colour.
I can't fight with a pyro.
Which means I end up eating them out of pity.
You might as well ask Van Gogh to paint with a try. Oh, shut up, shut up, shut up!
Exactly.
I am sick of the fact that I am responsible for everything in this house. You useless shapes. Enough is enough. You all sort yourselves out for once. Now, I'm going to go upstairs and have a long hot soak in the bath. And I do not want disturbed. Is that understood?
There's no hot water.
Christ almighty.
Bye, guys.
They're doing this 24-hour dance-a-thon thing. They haven't slept.
What? Why are they so bouncy?
They're off their tits on lemon sherbet. Seriously, between them and Marcel Marceau over here...
How's it going?
Not doing me any harm.
What?
I'm not breathing for children in need.
Oh, and that's happening now, as it you're currently not breathing.
Correct.
Grand. Well, I am planning on visiting the hospital. I'm going to read the sick kids.
James.
You're doing your driving test?
It's literally all I've talked about for weeks.
Jesus Christ, James. There's only so many ways I can say this. We don't listen to you.
You've seen my instructor pick me up at the school gates a dozen times. What did you think was going on?
I just thought he was some sort of creep.
Yeah, you didn't try to intervene.
He seemed happy enough.
I see.
We won't forget that performance in a hurry, no matter how hard we try. Now, amidst the merry...
Don't know whose idea it was, but it was genius.
Was your idea?
Ah, no.
You said, can we have the stars in their eyes, night?
Is that right? Well, sure. There you are.
And I said, absolutely not.
I see. Well, sure, all's well.
And then you started begging.
That ends well, as they say.
At one point, it looked like you were going to cry.
I think you've maybe slightly misremembered there.
Didn't go to work.
What?
I don't know what's going on with her, Jerry, but I'm worried. Feminism, she's talking about joining the women's
Did you read this book?
Right?
Never got around to it. There was always something more important to do.
Oh, God, not the finger-quoting thing.
I've said she doesn't need to worry about dinner. I'm cooking tonight. As soon
Jesus, I need some excitement.
You call for a plumber?
Need somebody.
Unfortunately, Frankie passed away.
happy days.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm Mary, and this is my husband, oh, God.
Jerry.
Thank you.
What a genius.
Not thinking of entering, are you?
Might be.
Yourself a man like that, love.
I don't, Daddy, hardly.
That's true.
He's really brave too, that'd be intimidating, you know. If you're that, you should at least have the common decency to be a bit sick. I doubt that very much, Gabriel. I was maybe of subnormal intelligence.
That's no word.
Well, hello there.
Well, hello. Erin. And what age are you?
not 5.
I knew it was too good to be true. I think the best thing we could do is to get the routine on its feet.
I think the first bit's pretty good.
First bit's shite, Erin. You look like you're being electrocuted, and what the fuck do you think you're doing, Claire the Hacker?
Fuck!
Come on, Mary.
I can't, Gabriel.
No one needs to find out.
No, look, it's not like I'm not flattered.
Fanny. Big Fanny? Fanny Payne.
The plumber was trying to get off of there, it's Ma! Bring things to you know, suggestive things.
My ma. He was coming on to my ma. What is he, some sort of reverse paedophile?
Yes?
I think mine might be a wee bit.
Cause other things.
Not having dinner, Sarah? Why not? Well, firstly, because I value my life, and secondly, I'm heading out.
Where?
Eileen Rafferty turned 50, so she's having this party.
Eileen Rafferty turned 50 last year, did she not?
We're just gonna have a couple of drinks in her memory.
Is Eileen a teetotal, Mary?
Oh my God, well, how do you know so much about Eileen Rafferty? What are your stalker?
If a woman's 50 and there's not a wrinkle on her, I take an interest, Mary.
Rafferty story did not add up, girls. Do you think your ma's getting plumbed by the plumber?
Well, I never trusted her.
Doesn't have a car. Your dad does. I'd never let us borrow it. You wouldn't have to know.
Absolutely not. No, I couldn't.
Are we even moving?
I simply will not negotiate when it comes to road safety.
He's alone. She's not. There.
Anne, are you okay?
I don't know, but it definitely looks bad. And that's gonna make her feel bad.
Erin, we're just a bit worried.
Don't be. We are going to smash it out there.
I don't mean the performance. I mean, I'm also worried about the performance. I've been having recurring nightmares about the performance.
About last night.
Erin, your man the plumber.
Maybe you should speak to her, Erin.
I'd say what? How could you do it? How could you betray Daddy like that? How could you make me doubt everything I ever thought I knew?
Take this. You've donated to the charity. You don't actually have to sit through this ordeal.
Our girls are performing.
And?
You ever like to see them?
Sister Michael here, needed backstage ASAP, over.
Sorry, just let me deal with this.
Let's welcome our... You sounded like this person when you're in the bath.
Aye.
Would you like to tell us about that?
I was singing in the bath and my ma heard me and she said, Tina, you sound a bit like Meatloaf.
There's no need for the clues now, Tina, is there? Who are you going to be tonight, Tina?
Tonight, Fowler.
Matthew.
Tonight, Fowler,
No,
Matthew.
just Matthew. Like in the show. Seen the show, haven't you, Tina?
Tonight, Matthew, I'm gonna be Meatloaf. No, I won't do that. Some days it don't come at all, and these are the days.
God, I would just like to take this opportunity to thank you for our friendship. And for the fact that this costume makes my rack look so cracker.
Well, Peter, they are English, but we still like them.
They're also probably better known by their nicknames.
Which are, and I think this just might give it away now.
Ginger, Baby, Sporty, Scary, and Posh. Tonight, Matthew, we're gonna eat the
Get out of the bottom. The top is high, so your roots are forgotten. Giving is good as long as you're getting what's driving you as ambition or better. I said,
Are they good?
How are they good?
you're smiling out in the wrong direction. You got the bug, superstar, you've been bitten.
Oh.
What's wrong?
Oh, don't you, Aaron, love me?
I'm sorry.
I know what you've been up to.
What secret lottery numbers, Mary?
You do secret lottery numbers?
I know about you and Gabriel.
What?
Claire heard you arranging your dirty little rendezvous. Stop lying!
Oh, God.
You're having an affair with a plumber!
You have an affair with Frankie?
Frankie's dead, Dad.
Gabriel, she's having an affair with Gabriel.
How the hell did you manage that?
I'm not having an affair with Gabriel.
Just tell them the truth, Mary. How should she know? You absolute bastard!
Look, when Gabriel was fixing the boiler, I brought him up a couple of cups of tea.
A couple of dozen.
We got chatting.
Jesus Christ!
He told me that he was taking these night classes in English literature. He wants to do a degree. He convinced me to come along and check it out. That house was the tutor's house, Erin. There was 8 other people there.
So why were you drinking wine, Mommy?
Because everybody was drinking wine. There was cheese as well. The idea that someone like me could go back to school. The idea that someone like me might even go to university, well, it didn't seem possible. I thought there's no point in telling anybody about all this because it's not actually going to happen. It's not real.
Well, let's make it real, if it's what you want.
Do you mean that?
There's nothing you can't do, love. Nothing.
Feel a lot better than thinking she's having an affair.
Dangerously thrown me over Craigavon Bridge.
Ran on Tuesday night.
I was watching Taggart.
Are you having an affair? Is that what's going on here?
Let's go.
We're going dangerously slowly. Everyone, that was season 3, episode 2 of Derry Girls. We start out at the beginning and Mary is getting bombarded on all sides from everybody, and the hot water is also out, and she is getting very, very frustrated, and eventually she kind of blows her top and decides that all of them need to take care of themselves because she is tired of having to take care of and deal with everyone all the time. So then later on we see Joe and Jerry taking care of laundry. We see Sarah attempting to make dinner. We'll talk about the dinner itself a little bit later. After that, the kids go to school. They find out that there is going to be this contest that is going to be presented on TV where they get to kind of do their own little show. Like the winners get to have their winnings donated to a chosen charity. These girls always seem to make some interesting choices when it comes to charities and donations and things like that. Now, of course, because the water heater is out, they have to call a plumber to come and fix it. Plumber comes, and it's not the usual guy. Apparently, the usual guy has since passed away. And his name was Frankie, and this new guy's name is Gabriel. And both Sarah and Mary seem to be very attracted to Gabriel. They're just kind of drooling over Gabriel, got their tongues hanging out. They think he's so hot. And they're doing this sometimes right in front of Jerry. Now, because this show is going to happen, the kids go upstairs and they're practicing. Plumber guy is doing his plumbing thing, and Mary is bringing him up cup of tea after cup of tea. And Jerry is, of course, taking notice and not pleased about it. Michelle, of course, seems to have taken control of their lessons for getting ready for the show, and she's being her badass self and controlling self, making everybody else upset, especially Claire. Claire finally has had enough, and she goes running out of the room just in time to spy this conversation going on between Mary and the plumber, who has finished what he needed to do and is now getting ready to leave. And it really does look like this guy is propositioning Mary, and it looks like Mary is not trying very hard to brush him off. So it really looks bad, and Claire goes to tell her friends about it, and she starts out, it looks like she's trying to do some kind of charades or something, and I don't know what kind of signs she was making. It didn't seem to really go along very well at all with what was going on, other than maybe like talking. That's about all I could get out of what she was signaling. But she finally just blurbs it all out. And she has to do it a couple times because they can't make out exactly what on earth she's saying, because she's speaking so fast and she's so upset. And I thought it was kind of funny. Erin kind of blows it off at first, like her mom wouldn't be interested in somebody like that at all. And she called it like a reverse pedophile, because earlier he had been talking to her like she was a little child, and now he's hitting on her much older mom. So anyway, we get to the dinner, and Mary is all dressed up. She's decided she is not eating there. In the first place, she doesn't want to put her life in Sarah's hands with Sarah's unsavory dinner and Sarah's lack of knowledge on how to cook. So she's going out, but also because she is going out with Gabriel, and she's not going to tell anybody this. Of course, Sarah corrects Mary repeatedly about her story, about where she's going, because she says she's going to go to have a party with this woman who's supposed to be turning 50, and like Sarah's like, didn't she have her 50th last year? And then she's like, oh, but it was actually going to be for her mom. And she's like, isn't her mom dead? And she just keeps on like piling on lie after lie, and Sarah keeps correcting her on it, and she's like, what are you, this woman's stalker? Like, why would you be so interested in this person that you would know so much about them? And Sarah's like, if she's 50 years old and she doesn't have a wrinkle on her, I'm gonna take some interest. We see this meal that Sarah has presented, and Michelle lifts up her chicken, and I'm telling you people, there was red, like very red and pink in that chicken, and Michelle's like, I don't think I want to eat frozen food, and Sarah says it's al dente, and I was like, oh my god, al dente chicken. Just craziness. After Mary runs off to apparently go and see Gabriel, the kids get very worried. They go to figure out what they're going to do about it. They realize that this guy had left an address in Mary's address book, and they find the address. James had just gotten his driver's license, which apparently he had been trying to get for a while, and Michelle didn't realize or notice that he was actually trying to get his license. And she thought James was like with this creep, and he's like, well, why didn't you intervene? And she's like, oh, well, you looked happy enough. Oh my god, especially Michelle. She sometimes is so wrong. Oh my gosh. James has his license, but he doesn't have a car. But Michelle's like, Jerry has a car, and we can use that. And they're like, I don't think Jerry's going to let him borrow it. And she's like, he doesn't need to know. But the entire time they're out, James is driving super slow. He's being overly cautious, which somehow got him a slow ticket. There was one time somebody was driving super slow right in front of the cop. The cop kept signaling her to like drive the speed limit, and she just kept driving super slow right in front of him, and he finally pulled her over. I think he gave her a ticket, but I can't be sure of that. A lot of times I'll drive around 10 miles an hour over, and there have definitely been times where I wasn't paying attention and I was going a lot more than 10 over. Than I think in Florida, we are allowed to take like a driver's class to avoid getting extra points put on our insurance if we get a speeding ticket. But there's all these regulations about how long it needs to have been between your last ticket and how many total that you can have in a lifetime. I think I've ever like gotten a ticket where it was too soon, but I believe I only have one more ticket that I can get before I'm not allowed to take the class anymore to avoid points. So 10 tickets in my lifetime. in Florida. And we find out later that it is not Gabriel's house, but they think it's Gabriel's house. He's a plumber, and they point out that it seems kind of nice, and they're like, and James is like, well, I think plumbers actually do fairly well. And I don't know for sure. I don't know how it is over there. But I have heard like some jobs that you might think of as being not very lucrative, some of them actually do seem to make a decent amount of money. Not like a lot, but enough to, you know, to be okay. They see Gabriel there, but they don't see Mary at first. So at first they're like relieved that, oh, Mary's not there. But then right after that, Mary comes up. She's got a glass of wine. And then they both close the curtains. So it looks really, really bad. Like something really is going on, which of course is going to make Aaron very upset. And the kids are really, really worried for her. She keeps playing it off like everything's okay, and they go on about their day. They go on about trying to, later on, they go on about trying to get ready for the show. And the show gets ready to start, and Erin seems like she is just carrying on like normal, but the kids know that this isn't normal. James comes up and asks if she's okay, and she's like, no, the show's gonna go fine, we're gonna do great. And he's like, it wasn't the show I was worrying about, although I was having nightmares about it. It's, you know, it's about you, we're worried about you. And she's like, the poor girl is like, what am I gonna do about it? What am I gonna ask my mom? How could you do this? How could you betray Dad and everything I ever believed about you and about the relationship and everything? I felt so bad for Aaron. Like, that's gotta feel so freaking horrible, especially when you feel like you've lived in a fairly stable home environment and your parents are in this loving, caring relationship and have never been unfaithful to each other, and then to find out that there might actually be something going on. But Erin keeps going. She keeps doing her thing. They go up to do the show. Father Peter, okay, apparently I think his name is Matthew Peter, so he decides that in the show he's going to have them all call him by Matthew. And they're used to calling him Peter. He seems to be like so excited. He's the one putting on this show, and he's so excited about it. It was kind of good fun, and it was hilarious to see him get so overly excited about it. Poor Sister Michael was hilarious as usual. I can't remember her last name, but Tina, we seen her in an early episode in the series, and she is doing Meatloaf, and he's like asking them questions, making it like a kind of little quiz so people can try to guess who it is that they're going to be playing. And Tina's just like, Tina's got these one-word answers. She's not really playing along because she's just not that kind of person. Asks her to elaborate on it, so she basically just repeats what he said and says that she's doing Meatloaf, so there's no guesswork at it. And he got all upset because she gave it away. Don't think she sounded like Meatloaf all that much, but I thought she did a really good performance. And I loved her outfit. Totally loved her outfit. Anyway, then the kids get up there to do their performance. And I don't know what's up with these white robes. I guess they're just trying to cover up the costumes so that people can try to guess what it is without having their costumes showing. They go to present their names, and Father Peter says that, yeah, you know, once you hear their names, you're probably going to guess who they are. So, of course, because it's the Spice Girls, their nicknames are fairly well known, so yeah, I think everybody would know exactly who they're talking about. And they're all doing such a good job. And they are dancing. Even James is in a dress and in high heels, and he's going like it's no problem. It was awesome. And you see Jen backstage like complaining, are they actually good? Are they actually good? Yeah, they're actually good. That went pretty well until Aaron saw in the audience that Gabriel had showed up. And Gabriel is sitting right next to her mom. They are laughing and carrying on and whispering to each other, and it just looks really bad. And we know the previous situation looked really, really bad. And that stopped Erin right in her tracks. She can't go anymore because she's so upset, so she turns around and walks off stage. And then after that, the other girls fairly quickly follow after her, and then the parents see that she had gotten off stage, and they go backstage to find out what's wrong. And of course, Erin just straight out accuses Mary and Gabriel of having an affair, and explains everything that they saw. And eventually Mary catches on that she misconstrued. It wasn't even Gabriel's house. It wasn't a romantic rendezvous. It was the idea of possibly going to college, even though she thought there's no way it'll really happen. Like, that's not something for somebody my age to be entertaining, especially stay-at-home mom. I can say myself, I started college pretty late. I didn't have almost full-grown teenage children when I started. God, it was many, many years after I had graduated high school. I had joined the Army, and I did my thing in the Army, and then I did some side jobs after that before I ever even started college. I had both my kids while I was in the process of getting my AA degree. The beginning of those second 2 years of my bachelor's degree, that I had just started the university program, and I was trying to deal with summer classes. I had this brand new baby that I had to keep with me while I'm doing assignments, and I ended up having to drop the summer class because it was too much, because it was an art class. And it was like every time I got started on a project, between my baby and my toddler, because my oldest was a toddler at the time, the project would get messed up because, you know, kids and paint, they don't always go very well together. So yeah, that's kind of my story about trying to do school while you have little kids. It was not easy. It took me a long time because I did this at a slow pace. I was doing jobs and working at college sometimes, not always, but young kids, I think, when I got done with my bachelor's degree. But then I went back for my master's degree when they were both teenagers. Kind of, especially at the time, I get how that would be like something that you might not even entertain. Like, you're a female, you have raised your kids throughout most of their life. They are now teenagers. You haven't gone back to school since high school. So that might not be something that you think you could even entertain. For me, it was definitely something. I knew that I was going to finish college. I did not know I was going to go back for a master's degree, but I knew I was going to finish college even with kids. Oh gosh, and I have to say about Jerry, oh my gosh, he got so upset. I don't blame him at all. It really, really sounded like there was something really going on, and it really looked like something was going on. Jerry got so upset. His face is like blowing up, and his face is turning so red that it's purple. Like, that upset. I thought he was going to hit the guy, and he didn't. He pushed against him a little bit, but he never hit him. But they managed to get across what was actually going on, and Jerry's like, well, if this is what you really want, then let's make it happen. I felt kind of bad when she said, that if she told anybody, if she let people know, then that would make it real. And that's just not something that she entertained as a realistic possibility because of her, where she was in her point in life. So I felt bad because I always knew, whether I'm an adult or not, I'm going to graduate from school. I definitely felt like I had to let go a lot of some of the parenting stuff just to deal with school. And I was a very good student in college. I was not a good student in high school, but in college I was a good student. Always had A's. I think I had a couple B's, but mostly I had A's. And I was very proud of that fact, because in high school I graduated with like a C- average. History and math, those classes I struggled in, and they would dip down into the D's and F's sometimes, and then I would get grounded, and I would work on those classes, but then my other classes that I did well in would go down. So my bad classes would go up, my good classes would go down, not as low as the bad classes, but they would go down from like A's and B's to B's and C's. And then my bad classes would go up from D's and F's to C's and D's. And yeah, like I said, I graduated with a C- average when it was all said and done. Now I have some processing issues, I think, and I struggle with memorizing things like names and dates, stuff like that. So social studies was a problem. Math I'm very slow in, like I don't have a good handle on my multiplication table, so I can do the math. I know how to do like algebra problems and stuff like that, but I'm very slow at it because I don't have those multiplication and division problems down. Yeah, the episode was a little different. I didn't expect it to go that way, but it was still good. I really felt bad for Aaron for a little while there. I really felt bad for Jerry, but they finally found out what was really going on. And I'm sorry if the sound is bad. I am gonna try to fix this. I've been trying to find ways that I can get a track with my sound separate from the track of the video sound. And so I was trying this noise canceller, which I think seems to work somewhat okay on my computer, but it doesn't work that great on my phone. My phone is what I use to record my reactions when I'm in the living room. My computer is what I use to record my reactions when I'm in my room. So I'm trying to figure it out. It's hard to get the tracks lined up enough so that they're right. It's hard to get the volume of each thing right so that you can hear me and still hear the track from the show. If this one sounded really horrible, but there was another one that you've watched before that you thought sounded a lot better, let me know in the comments so that I can figure out what sounds okay. I'll see you when I get episode 3 of Derry Girls out. Bye.
Until next time, I'll see you when I see you. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want more content, click subscribe. If you click that little bell and click all, then you'll get more content notifications.